they flew a lot of them over here about another time. For the equipment, they took it to Camp Pendleton. And it was U.S. Marine Corps. But all that firefighting equipment over here on the rubber tank. This bush right here, beautiful little white flowers growing on it, is called St. Catherine's Vase. This plant is also endemic, found nowhere else in the world but right here on Barefoot Island. It's related to Queen Anne's Vase on the mainland. That flower just bloomed, I'm going to say 2 weeks now. It is slowly turning to chocolate brown, the color of coffee grounds, before it dries up, and then next year it will start all over again. St. Catherine's Vase. This bush right here with the little orange flowers, and once because of our drought, they're all dried up. It's all the same plants. Those flowers look like little monkeys, and they're sticky to the touch. So we call these plants here sticky monkey. These are all the sticky monkey plants. This bush right here is full of little berries. The very sour is called lemonade berry. The fox loves that lemonade berry. So we see fox poop, it's full of berries. But I've seen them trotting down the road with squirrels in their mouth. They like squirrels too. Right here you can see the deer. Excuse me. I got a date tonight. So I'm going to tell what's going on. Okay, but also right down here is Avalon Canyon. I know that's our golf course right down there. Where those two purple bougainvillea plants are at, that dirt area used to be horse stables. They retired 5 years ago, and nobody wanted to take over business, so she got her horses, she put them on the barge, and she took them with her back to Riverside, California. They don't want to even rent that right. It's kind of sad. And up in that little valley right there is some brand new homes that's called Triana. And right in front of it, by the road, is an old bird park. And in that bird park is a structure that's called the Dance Pavilion. And that was built with the casino building that's now located. Now, back in the days, it was just too small to accommodate all the visitors that came. So Mr. Ridley had it dismantled. He brought it to the Avalon Canyon and put it back together for his wife, Ada. And she made the bird park out of it. Now, her bird park at one time housed more than 4,000 exotic birds. But due to the high cost of maintenance, the Ridley family sold them birds to the Los Angeles City Zoo in 1966. But the bird park is now a preschool.
Yeah,
that's what it takes them all the 3 and 4 years. Now this is a fire break. I'll have to give it a try one of these days. LA County comes out here with a big bulldozer and clears out these clearings, and if you look at it from a distance, they look like ski slopes. The last time it snowed here was 1949. But I tell everybody these are ski slopes. And they're going to use them as fire breaks until the next snow season comes around. body of water out here called the San Pedro Channel. It's also known as the Catalina Channel, and it is one of the deepest channels in the world. That point's a little over 3,000 feet deep. Now look just beyond the telephone poles, those are jet skis out there. And if you rent a jet ski, you know, you don't get it right there in Avalon Bay. They put you on the shore boat, and there's a barge out there around that point. And they take you to the barge, and from there you take off on your jet skis. We are considered a desert island. That's why you see cactus out here. This cactus here is called prickly pear. A fruit grows on it. It's really sweet and tasty. You might have been noticing beautiful yellow flowers like this one here on the right. That flower blooms at the top of the fruit. Now, if you ever try that fruit, you got to be very careful because it has microscopic needles on there. And even though you handle it real carefully, you still get those microscopic needles in your fingertips. And you'll have irritation for the rest of the day. The natives will cut them off using a seashell, drop it into a basket, take it over to the fire, and throw it into the hot coals. Now that flower blooms on that fruit for about 3, maybe 4 days before it falls off. And you'll know when that fruit's ready to eat because it turns like a dark, deep, almost purplish red. But the cactus itself is very edible. This is kind of right there in the bond of the produce stand. So to get the young thin cactus, take the needles off, you peel it, you slice it, you saute it, throw it some jack cheese, ground, chocolate. But the raisins, the black raisins love that fruit also. They eat it and then they poop. And wherever they poop, that's the grows. That's why gills out there, some of them are smaller with the stuff. Through town, you might come across an old house. An old building with a red tile clay roof with cactus growing up on the roof. The birds, they poop on that clay tile. And for some crazy reason it grows, like a chia pet. A chia house. This is a very east end of the island. Right over that bridge right there is a rock quarry. Now the original rock quarry is located about 18 miles up the coast. It's called Empire. We shut that down about 50 years ago. With the breakwater that protects LA Harbor, Long Beach Harbor, Newport Beach. All that rock came from Catalina Island. Look at that rock quarry right there. But this island of ours was formed, they say, somewhere around 5 million years ago by what's called subduction. And that's when tectonic plates under the ocean collide into one another. One slipping underneath the other one, pushing it up out of the water. That's how we were formed 5 million years ago. Now they're also saying that when we were formed, we were off the coast of Baja, Mexico. We are slowly moving 2 inches per year northward. So we're on a slow journey to San Francisco. We're not going to be there anytime soon, but we will be there someday. Look across the water. You can barely see Saddleback Peak over there. That's Orange County. On a real clear day, you can see all the way to Oxnard, all the way down the coast to San Diego County, all the way to Palm Springs, San Jacinto Mountain back there. Now if you look really hard, you can see the sliver of the top of an island way out there. That's San Clemente Island. One of the 8 Channel Islands, and that's the one that's further south. It's owned by the government. Every once in a while you hear, boom. Everybody goes, what was that? And that was them over there blowing something up. They also built an aircraft carrier top on an island where they practiced landing and taking off from aircraft carriers. Now, out of the 8 Channel Islands, the biggest one, Santa Cruz Island. Number 2, be Santa Rosa. Number 3, Catalina. But the 4th largest, San Clemente Island over there. It's about 2 miles shorter distance than Catalina Island. This is where the ridge goes like this. Look straight up above it. That's where the sliver of the island, the top of the island is. Utility road here that takes down to an old lighthouse beacon that was solar powered back in the 1980s. But the extreme mountain bikers go this way. There's a lot of jumps and bumps and twists and turns. They had there's been a couple of bikers that have been rescued from down there to take a fall, break their ribs, break their collarbone. That area's up here. Why am I? Now we do have a hospital right here. We'll take it down to bar school. It's called the Campus Medical Center. I think we have maybe 2 doctors around the island that work in the hospital. Another one that's on practice. If you get injured, like break your leg, take it to the hospital, put a board on it, wrap it up, fly you out. If you get caught on that helicopter, if your insurance doesn't cover the helicopter ride, just be careful. Little town down there into a tourist attraction. Well, back in the days, it was just a small fishing village, which is called Chateau Town. It didn't sound very catchy, but that's tourist. Now we're going to pass one of the houses that he built on the way into town. It was built in 1888. Took so long like this. Had it with me. She was reading a book about King Arthur and came across this poem where King Arthur stated that he wanted to be taken to the island valley of Avalon, where there were magical powers. And that's where we got the name for our town. But George tried too hard, he went broke. That's what 3 guys from Delaware who called themselves the Vanny Brothers stepped into the picture. Now they're known for running freight up and down the state of California in stagecoach. So while they own this island, they wanted to run tours to the top of the summit over there in stagecoach. So they hired this guy by the name of Sergeant Farmer to come out and have a look alone. When Samuel got done building that road that they wanted, that's when the Vanny Brothers started the Santa Catalina Island Company. And that was in 1894. And they are the ones who started the tourism in the island. Coming up with a good view of Avalon. It was in 1919 when Mr. William Wrigley Jr. Now, by the way, the Wrigley family are well known for the chewing gum, double mint, spearmint, juicy fruit. Mr. Wrigley owned Chicago Cubs there for a while, and he's the one who named William Field Wrigley Field. Now, what he did was he bought some stock in the island company. He came out to see what he bought and fell in love with the island. He went back and purchased all the rest of the stock available. He owned the whole island, except for 1%. Now, he wanted to keep his island basically in its natural state, but he died in 1932, And that's when his son, Philip Knight Wrigley, took over. Now, while we're up here looking down at the city of Avalon is the only West Coast city that doesn't get a sunset because we are facing east. Now, Philip Knight Wrigley, just like his dad, wanted to design it basically in its natural state. He did, however, don't build himself a crazy horse ranch, and he called it El Rancho Escondido. And then he got the airport that's located 10 miles from town and called it Airport in the Sky. In 1972, the Wrigley family got together and they started the Conservancy. Then in 1975, Philip Knight Wrigley donated 88% of the island to the Conservancy, and their job is to basically maintain it and keep it in its natural state. Now, when Mr. Wrigley made that donation to the Conservancy and he gave him all that land, it was an ironclad deal, no development going on back here, no roads, no hotels, there's nothing back here. To get to the backside, you got to hike and climb over the mountains or take a boat all around the ends. Now we can't see it because of that fog. The farthest point out here on the backside is called China Point. And that would be the furthest distance across the island from China Point on the back to Long Point Scooping on the front, 8 miles. Let's see here. The shortest distance would be at 2 harbors. It would be the Isthmus Harbor.